Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Press Box. Brian Carson here with my co-host Kenny Varner. Kenny V, what's up, my friend?
Oh, not a lot. Just enjoying the day. Got another win for the Bulldogs, special needs team. So it's been a good day.
Awesome. Let's start there then. We're gonna go. We don't have a guest tonight. Uh, Kenny's been busy. I've actually been under the weather. We're just gonna freelance like we do sometime. We're gonna riff. We're gonna talk about a bunch of different stuff. So we'll start out with the Central Keystone Bulldogs. Their new name debuting. They last weekend was your opening game, and then you had a game today.
Yep, had a game today against the Terrace Tigers midget team. Uh, Very fun game. Our team got the win, but there was pretty close.
And then did you win your opener?
Yep, we beat Matt Stokes and the HWF Wrestlers. I believe it was 44-6.
Wow.
Yeah, well, to their credit, they played right after wrestling the night before. So, I really appreciate that for them coming out after a hard night of wrestling down in Pittsburgh. So,
Did you power slam Silks?
oh, I tried to, but I just couldn't do it. I had David Fine go out to do it.
So did the big Ford guy show up?
No, thank goodness. No, or we would have been in trouble.
Well, that's cool. 2-0. What do you got next?
We have a team called the Paramed on Wednesday. I don't know too much about them. The person who schedules us gives us little information until closer to time. So we'll be playing them next Wednesday.
Are you going to crush them?
I hope so. I know my team's ready to go.
So I'm sure pretty excited, aren't they? Start out 2-0.
Oh, definitely. And the fun part is they're playing as a team. They're arguing between each other. They're just going out and getting the job done.
Nobody wanting like contract dispute or raises or anything like that.
Not yet, but I think David Fry and a couple other ones they want to take my job here and get the head coach money.
David wants to be the show.
That's right. I'll tell you if he coaches like he did on Sunday, I might be out of a job.
Oh yeah, did a good job, huh?
Yep, he definitely did. He ran the offense. Actually, it went real smoother than whenever I take care of it. So
awesome. Yeah. Oh, way to go, man. So next week you said Paramed or something?
Yeah, a Pyramid, I guess. Like I said, I don't know too much about them, but
are they from the area?
I think so. I think they're from. Oh gosh, maybe McVeigh.
Ah, okay. So, well, good luck with that. Your team's 2-0 now. You were at the Wrangle in the Wild 3, the Hidleys and Joey Bender's thing, and went off pretty good. I know the crowd. I watched on the pay on Trent's pay, the Rock, and the crowd looked pretty good. Give me your thoughts on that.
Oh, especially for you would think in the off season, in August, you hear a wrestling, you think, oh boy, someone's going to be there, but boy, I'll tell you what, a lot of Mifflin County came out and saw some good wrestling. I'll tell you, my hat goes out to the older ones, the older wrestlers in the higher divisions, because some of them are just a couple years younger than us, and they're out there on the mat. It was impressive. lot of tired bodies after that match. I'll tell
Yeah, and we got some of your photos here. I'm going to put up females wrestling. I love it.
you. Mm-hmm.
I love it. That turned out to be a pretty good match.
Yeah.
The Swineford girl, I think, there is facing us. We covered her daddy, remember?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And nice getting the half on there. There's the girls' match again. Look at that one. Look at that picture of yours, Kenny. Getting the half on. Turning them. Then we got the big boys coming around. And then we got the two senior citizens. It looks like Scott Hayes is trying to flee the mat.
Mm-hmm. That match was funny because they were so out of gas by the time overtime period came. They just wanted to get it over with.
Oh, I'm sure. There, look at that. Heavy hand, stout, working on the head. Look at Adam. He kept himself in shape. So did Scott Hayes. My God.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what. The last time I saw Scott Hayes, except for last year, I remember him wrestling for Indian Valley, and in him now, it's like, damn, I'm old.
Oh my God, yeah, we are, buddy. But so, and I'll tell you that main event, Stewart and Coker, was really just a great match, man, between two stud wrestlers.
Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you what, it all came down to the final seconds where Stewart was losing 4-3 and was able to turn it around and get back points. And I think within the last 10 seconds to pull out the win. It was well worth its weight in gold to watch that match. It was the highlight of the night.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think they should. I'll get your thoughts on this. The Hidleys, they came on here a couple Wednesdays ago and said they thought it was the best card they put together so far out of the three, and I would agree. It was just up and down from the youth to the undercard to the main event card. Just some great matches, really entertaining. And I think after that show that they put on this time, it's just going to keep getting bigger and bigger, and the fans are going to keep coming out and supporting it.
Oh, definitely, most definitely. And this is coming from a basketball guy, but as long as they're having them, man, if I can do it, I'm going to be there to watch it because it's exciting. You don't even think that you're in there for 2 hours. It's just like a thrill a minute. Very enjoyable.
Yeah, it's a good atmosphere, and that's what they want. There's wrestling there and that, but they also want it to be entertaining. And I think they did both really well this time. Not that the other times weren't either as well, but I think people know what to expect now. And you've got guys like Reenan and them coming in that's really making it first class wrestling.
Yeah.
You had All Americans and everything in there.
And where else can you see the past, the present, and the future of wrestling all on one card?
So tell me, did Stout and Hayes need oxygen afterwards?
I think they might have. Yeah,
because no matter how in shape you keep yourself, you get older. The wind is not the same, man. Not the same.
Yeah, it looked like a lot of hands on the hips. Period there.
Go get the oxygen tank. But I'll tell you what, I absolutely give Scott and Adam credit for going out there and doing that, man.
Mm-hmm. Oh, definitely.
Wrestling's a hard sport anyway. let alone when you start. Not that they're old, but they're
Mm-hmm.
they're starting to get up there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So,
especially if you can't get out there, and practice like you would, in college or yeah.
can you believe that we are coming up on high school sports already? The summer has flown by.
I know. It just
I mean,
seems like
high school football is the 25th.
mm,
Think about that.
that is just crazy.
So why don't you do a little recap of the summer in case people are vacationing and stuff like Babe Ruth, Little League, all that good stuff.
Okay, sure. It's been well, with the high school season, there was a lot of teams locally in the state championship games. You had Mount Union, Bald Eagle playing each other in baseball. You had Belfont playing against Dallas, and you in softball you had a Bald Eagle area and Juniata, both fighting for a state championship. On the boys' side, Bald Eagle and Belfont were victorious. They captured the title. Mount Union had to finish runner up, but still, um, it's hard to um, you can't criticize any team that's been in three different games and played and lost to only three teams or one team in three different
Yeah,
times.
it was a banner year in the spring for District 6 in baseball
Mm-hmm.
and softball. I mean, it's they've been good, but I don't remember a year when so many teams were so good. Being in like state finals.
Mm-hmm.
So
And
what? Go ahead.
I was just going to say, and the scary part is a lot of these teams that went, they're bringing back most of their players, so we could have a repeat next year if all goes well.
Yeah, and we're gonna have a football preview show coming up. We're gonna talk about a bunch of things in high school football kicking off. We got right up the road, 30 miles away, State College should be one of the top teams in the state again with their sophomore running back Dante Sheffy. Mifflin County, who was 6-4 last year, a lot of buzz going on about the Huskies as they get ready to start a year with Eichhorn back, Deacon Schaefer back, a bunch of kids back, and then of course you had Bald Eagle in Penns Valley meeting the District 6 championship, which was a great game. Watch that.
Mm-hmm.
It was streamed by the Bald Eagle area people, and but we'll get to that. But after the summer, after the spring and summer left, what went down around? Because I know you cover it all. Little League, Babe Ruth. Wrap it up for us. Give
Oh,
a rundown.
well, the Babe Ruth 13 and 14s, they went to states, but didn't, I believe, didn't get past that. It's kind of an off year for them, but they'll rebound next year and probably be right in the heart of things. Uh, the 15-year-olds, they came so close again to getting to the national championship, but they ran into a buzzsaw in the semifinals of regional play against a team that ended up beating Broomall, Newtown to end up,
Center County.
yeah, Center County. So no shame there. So uh,
No, that could
yeah.
be good. Could be a nice rivalry here if they keep going because State College usually didn't field a Babe Ruth team, and
Mm-hmm.
now that if they keep going, it'll be a nice little rivalry for Mifflin County in Babe
Mm-hmm.
Ruth. Something
And
to
what
get Ray Wild pissed off every.
Well, I believe a lot of the Center County team, they're Bellefonte and Bald Eagle.
I see.
This one anyway. I know they've had different center teams come, but this one was major Bellefonte and Bald Eagle.
Well, it's still raised like anti-Center County in everything, so it'll
Yeah.
be a nice little rivalry if it keeps up.
Oh yeah.
Anybody do anything in Little League?
Little League, they had a couple teams from Mifflin County. The Big Valley team participate. This year it was all state college, even in the softball. Now there was one team, Nittany Valley, 12-year-olds softball team that made it to regional play as well, but they fell to Indiana. Uh, they knocked Indiana knocked them out, beating them 2 out of 3 times. Excuse me. But the rest was state college baseball for I think 12, 11, and 10-year-olds all won the District 5 title. So, and I believe that the 12s also advanced to state play as well.
Well, we're going to have a football show, like I said, coming up in a few weeks. But I wanted to get. I saw an article on your hometown sports on the Laurel Highlands, and now they've absorbed the Mountain League and some District 9 guys. So they basically created a super conference like in college, in high school, and it comprises 22 teams, 5, 6, and 9 over 7 counties. And you had an interesting article about how they're going to, what they did to minimize the travel that could be happening. You know, a District 9 school going down to the Laurel Highlands, my Lord, that's a trip. So talk about what they did to minimize this travel, because that's what a lot of the article was about.
Well, from my understanding, they've actually like regionalized, like they have conferences inside the Laurel Highlands division. And a lot of it, from my understanding from talking to some of the coaches, is it's basically the Mountain League and a couple like BG and a couple other teams there in the Altoona area coming in and just adding to what was the old Mountain League.
I'll tell you what, you already got Richland and Forest Hills and teams like that, really good teams. You know about Richland and Forest Hills in their past. And then you add like Bishop Guilfoyle in that. This is has become, it always was, but now it is a really, really good conference. I mean, it's up there as one of the top conferences now. And well, it's probably going to be that way in all sports, but at least for football season here, it's going to be really, really good.
Yeah, and some of the coaches I talked to said that they really welcome it because that gives them better talent. Not that they didn't have it before, but a better out-of-conference schedule, where they can they know that they're going to battle tough teams instead of having to scramble at the last second to pick up teams. They actually will have teams that will make them better, pretty much. They'll make them battle, and the talent level is better. So then when the postseason comes, they're ready, primed and ready to go.
Yeah, I mean, I'm an old timer. I think I like the way they did it to minimize that and keep the Mountain League kind of going. But I'll miss the old Mountain League, just like I missed before the Mountain League when it was the Big 8. If you remember the Big 8.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But hey, things change. Like, you know, I don't know. What's your thoughts on it on this conference? Because I'll tell you, in the college thing, I hate what's happening.
Hmm.
I
Well,
hate these. I hate these damn super conferences that are happening. And I mean, something with the tradition. Like I said, I'm a traditionalist. For
mhm.
no more Pac-12 is just amazing to me that it's happened.
Oh yeah. Now I think with the Laurel Highlands, they had people who were actually thinking, and doing this, trying to keep the rivalries, trying to keep the teams, like you said, it's the Mountain League, but it's under the Laurel Highlands now. Um, but this stuff with college, it just seems like it's just about the money, and people were just jumping off. They're like the ship is sinking, so let's jump and
Oh yeah.
get into any
It
conference we can.
let's not let's not beat around the bush. It's all about money.
Hmm.
All about money. And so it's like, can you imagine that road trip? Rutgers like going out to Oregon?
Hmm.
Come on. And now I saw the Atlantic Coast Conference is trying to get Cal, Stanford, and SMU.
Jeez.
What they guys need to do is change the name of their conferences.
Hmm.
The Big Ten has 18 freaking teams now. Don't call it the Big Ten anymore.
Yeah, exactly. They haven't had 10 in how many years? Well, since Penn State joined, right?
Right. And can you imagine the ACC calling themselves the Atlantic Coast Conference and you have two West Coast teams in it if they join?
Oh.
Oh, yeah. A big ACC battle. North Carolina against California. I hate it, man. It
I do.
kills all the tradition. It kills I mean, I think it's a travesty, even though they're not the same anymore, that Nebraska and Oklahoma don't play.
Hmm.
I just
Oh
think it's
yeah.
sad.
Well, and Penn State for all the Penn State fans. That
Yeah,
we miss that.
it's gone. I mean, I don't know. Enjoy this year because college football's completely changed now. They might as well call it a minor league. I mean,
Yeah.
it is like professional now. The kids
Right.
get paid. The transfer portal kids are being paid to get into the portal and go to some other school. It's all about money. It's not about education, and it's bull crap. I mean, college football's dead. There's no amateur about it at all, and it's sad to me. It's sad.
Mhm. It's sad. What's really sad is it went from one extreme to the other. It went to these struggling college students who couldn't get extra, butter for their bagel, and now they're making millions off of a booster who has a car dealership, and it's just.
Yeah, in the old days, you'd be on probation for that.
Hmm.
Now they're rewarding you.
Hmm.
It's like USC gave Caleb Williams $2 million to leave Oklahoma to go to USC with his name, image, likeness crap. 2 million. And there's so many things about college I can't stand now. I hate the transfer portal.
Oh yeah.
It's basically free agency for college kids.
Hmm.
Just like the university should commit to the student. If you take a college, you should commit to the college if that's who signs you. Not this crap of like, well, here, come out here and we'll give you 2 million.
Hmm.
Because it's a couple factors. That and USC makes me sick to my stomach. Literally sick to my stomach. Because I'm a UCLA fan.
Well, they were doing that stuff before and just not getting caught.
Right. I mean, hell, SMU got the death penalty for what's going on now.
Hmm.
They gave Eric Dickerson a Trans Am. I mean, a gold Trans Am and money, and he will not say, even in interviews, he admits to Trans Am, but he will not say how much money they gave him. And it gave that was one of the reasons SMU got the death penalty, and now teams are being rewarded for it because USC's ranked 6th in the preseason with Caleb Williams there at quarterback. Wow. Speaking of college, if you are listening and a Penn State fan, you're not going to like me, but it's okay. I understand you're loyal to your team, but I've always said in my heart, and I said it publicly on this show, I think Franklin is an overrated coach. He is a very good recruiter, no doubt about that. A game decision coach, he's no good. Not that he's no good, but he's not in the Harbaugh, Daly, at Ohio State, Michigan, or Saban, nowhere near that as far as a game decision coach. And they had Penn State ranked 7th in the coaches poll that just came out, and I want to know how or why they are ranked that high. They have a quarterback, Drew Allar. I don't give a crap what his high school credentials were. He has never started a game in college football. All he's done is mop-up duty. They've lost their entire secondary to the NFL draft, and they are ranked 7th in the country. And Allar, which we talked about before going on, is even mentioned in the Heisman race.
Yeah, which is just incomprehensible, you know.
I remember the same hype about a guy named Christian Hackenberg. How'd that turn out?
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry I interrupted you.
No, I agree 100%. That just boils my, you know, when I hear that, because I am a Penn State fan, but I'm also a realist, and there is no way you can hype a kid up for a Heisman when he hasn't even been anything, like you said, except for maybe mop-up duty.
He's done mop-up duty. He has not started. He has not been a starting quarterback in a game that mattered. Mm-hmm. He came in against, I think it was Michigan, right?
Mm-hmm.
When Michigan, you know, so what if he had, look at that second half. Michigan pulverized them. Mm-hmm. They were taking it easy.
And you know what happens whenever you get behind early? You can't go to the running game. You have to go pass.
Right.
So it was going to be higher, you know, in the second half because they weren't playing. They weren't going to be playing a run.
Well, yes, there's no doubt Penn State's got a running game, and then they got the receiver kid from his name escapes me now, coming in from Kent State, who's had a pretty good career. But I mean. To put them number 7 with an untested quarterback and a defense that lost their entire secondary is unreal to me. Unreal to me. And to be fair, just so people don't think I'm picking on them, I think Alabama's rated too high. Mm-hmm. Alabama has no idea who their quarterback's going to be. They've got 3 guys fighting for it, and we're almost at the start of the season, and Saban still hasn't decided who the quarterback is. And I think they're just going by names and tradition. But like I said, I don't mean it sounds like I'm picking on Penn State, but I'm talking about Alabama too. But how we could overrate a player without seeing what he does. You know, high school crap. However good you were, does not mean you'll be good in college. Just like what you did in college does not mean you'll be good in pro. Mm-hmm. We've seen it so many times. Like my example with the Penn State thing is Allar is getting the same kind of attention that Hackenberg did. Mm-hmm. And who ended up being the better quarterback? Trace McSorley. Mm-hmm. Who... You know, nobody gave a crap at him coming out of high school.
Mm-hmm.
Not really. They said he didn't have an arm small. Here's Hackenberg 6'5". Oh my God.
Yep. And
he's going to be the greatest quarterback in Penn State history.
Mm-hmm.
What'd they win with him? See, it's about national championships. Whether anybody wants to hear that or not, it's about national championships. If you don't win a national championship, who gives a crap if you went to one of the 100 bowl games that there is?
Mm-hmm.
A bowl game means nothing anymore. Remember, you're old enough to remember back in the old days when there was only like 10 bowl games.
Yes. Yep.
Then they meant something. You had to be good to get to the bowl games. Now we've got the Poulan Weed Eater Bowl. And you can be like a 5-7 team and you're in a bowl game.
Mm-hmm.
It's about being, or at least playing, for a national championship. And how many times has Penn State done that under Franklin? 0. And anybody in their right mind with this Drew Allor quarterback, do you really think, barring a miracle, they are going to beat Michigan or Ohio State? No.
No, not the way it stands right now. Now, do I think they're ranked preseason too high? Yes. Do I think they could eventually end up around 7, or 8? I believe they could. They have the schedule for it, and they're only 2 tough opponents that really leave their mark is Michigan and Ohio State. But you have to beat them, and that's something I think Franklin has. What, 1 or 2 and 12?
Yeah, it's something like that, or 4 and 14, something like that, against Ohio State and Michigan. But that is the one thing, and I'll give that to you. That's the one advantage Penn State has. Their schedule is garbage except for Michigan and Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
The Big Ten gets bragged up a lot in football, but there isn't a lot of really, there's decent teams, but not great teams.
Mm-hmm.
You got Michigan and Ohio State.
Yep.
And then that second level is like Penn State, and every once in a while, you get like Michigan State and Wisconsin that are in there.
Mm-hmm.
But that's it. And just so you know, I'm not picking. I'm going to take my team is UCLA. I've been a fan of them since the 70s. UCLA in 2010 recruited Malcolm Jones from Oaks Christian High School in California. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Ken, I don't know if you remember him or not.
Yeah, that's been a while, though.
Malcolm Jones, this is to show you what you did in high school does not mean it'll happen in college. Because all I'm hearing is, well, this Allor was the number 1 rated drop back passer in high school. Okay, great. Malcolm Jones was the number 1 rated running back in the country. He was the Gatorade National High School Player of the Year. His stats, he ran for 6,280 yards and 113 touchdowns in high school. His senior year, he ran for 2,477 yards and 45 touchdowns. In 1 year, he went to UCLA. Turned down Notre Dame and Florida State to go to UCLA, and I was freaking excited. Malcolm Jones, Player of the Year. Guess what he did at UCLA?
What's that?
In 4 years, he never started a game. He ran for 557 yards and 4 touchdowns in 4 years. The Gatorade National Player of the Year. I don't care where you're ranked in high school. I don't even care where they're ranked in college. Like, I'll make another one. If I'm wrong, I'll admit it right away. And I'm saying it here so people listening can know. The big guy right now, the Carolina Panthers drafted Bryce Young. Number 1. He's a star. He is going to be a bust. He is, when they got his measurables, he's only like 5'9", 5'10". Not even 200 pounds. He will not last in the NFL.
No.
I don't think so. I know Doug Flutie did it. I know Drew Brees did it. But Bryce Young does not have the accuracy that Flutie and Brees do.
Mm-hmm.
And right away, he's the guy.
Well, if you remember correctly, too, Breeze and Flutie, they didn't do too well with their first teams. They had to go to established teams like the Saints and eventually the Bills that had some good line for them to have any kind of success.
That's a good point. A lot of times it's where Roethlisberger was drafted on a Steelers team that was already good.
Mm-hmm.
The Panthers are not good. And they lost DJ Moore.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there you go. And they traded McCaffrey. So I don't care about the accolades in college. I don't care about the accolades in high school. You got to, at each level, you got to show it.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think to put, like you said, to put this kid Allard as a Heisman guy when he hasn't even thrown a meaningful pass in college just because of what his high school stats were is ridiculous beyond belief. I mean, you got to ask yourself, I know this kid came from Kent State, but really, what you do in the Mid-American Conference, do you think you're going to do the same thing in the Big Ten? Do you know his name? It's missing off the top of my head. The kid they got from Kent State. Receiver in the transfer portal. They're talking about how he has like 113 or something catches at Kent State in his 2 years or whatever. That's the Mid-American. Central Michigan, Western Michigan, Ohio University. He's going to be playing against Michigan, Ohio State, Michigan State. You think he's going to put up? You think he's going to put up them numbers?
No, his name's Dante Cephas.
That's right. And then you got. Do you think he is in there with like at the same level as Jahan Dotson?
No.
He might not even be at the same level as the Parker Washington kid who graduated. So, I don't know. I know people think, that I'm super anti Penn State. I just think they're too high. I think Alabama's too high. As I said.
Yeah, Alabama's also having a hard time adjusting to this NIL and the transfer portal too, because they've lost so many players through that transfer portal.
Yeah. And Georgia is just turning into a freaking machine.
Mm-hmm.
Somewhere along the line, we talked about Saban and then Kirby Smart, who came from Alabama, back-to-back national champions. Do you know how hard that is to do in college football?
Oh, yeah.
Well, in any sport. And now they're number one again in the preseason. And they had the number one recruiting class in the nation. I even think maybe Ohio State could be too high.
Oh, yeah.
I know that's crazy. They got talent all around them, but they have an unknown at quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing they got going for them is Marvin Harrison Jr. is probably the best wide receiver in college football.
Mm-hmm.
But they got an unknown at quarterback. The team that should be a monster that has no excuse is Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
If Michigan falters, because they got J.P. is it McNamara?
Yes.
He's probably the best quarterback in the Big Ten. They got the best running game in the Big Ten with Edwards and Corwin. I mean, Michigan should win the Big Ten.
Mm-hmm. And say what you want about their coach too, but year in and year out, he's got his team ready to go.
Yeah, they're in a banner time right now. It's hard to believe. Do you remember that a couple of years ago he was close to losing his job?
Mm-hmm. Well, didn't he even take a reduction in pay one year?
Yeah,
So
and he was interviewed for the Minnesota Vikings job, and they went somewhere else. But that's my thing. I just think it's overrated. But the other thing I want to say about it is I hate polls this early.
Yeah, I agree.
I hate polls this early. You have no idea what's going to happen. Or what if an injury comes? Like, everybody's saying McNamara, Michigan, like I just said. What if he gets hurt?
Mm-hmm.
God forbid. Even Georgia, Stetson Bennett is gone.
Mm-hmm.
I know they're a monster team with recruiting and everything, but they don't have they're going to have a new quarterback too.
Mm-hmm.
It always helps having that veteran quarterback back. The ones that have it are Michigan and USC. That's what Lincoln Riley did at Oklahoma. Mm-hmm. He just gets everybody to come into the portal. He gets that USC booster money and goes, "Come on, guys." They make me sick. Sorry. I just maybe it's because UCLA's been the bastard stepchild in California for so many years. I'm frustrated by it. The only time UCLA was ever better than USC was in the 80s with Terry Donahue as our coach. That's the only time. Other than that, it's been all USC.
And you had some glory years when Aikman was their quarterback, right?
How about it? Troy. Mm-hmm. Never got a national title, though. Best year as they were undefeated, ranked number 1 with Aikman his senior year, and they got upset his junior year, and they got upset by Arizona State. It hurt me. Then we were number one with Cade McNown. Remember him?
Mm-hmm.
Another NFL bust. Cade McNown, the UCLA, was number 1 and went down to Miami, Florida, and Edgerrin James ran for 346 yards. I watched it. All of it. And watched our championship dreams go down the tubes. That was back before playoffs. It was the polls that decided the champion. But that's all. That's my thoughts on the preseason college football poll. You have anything else to add to that?
Just that I'm like I said, I'm a Penn State fan, but I think they've got to, be ranked a little bit higher than what they are. I mean, a little bit out of the top 10. I think they've got to work their way in and earn it.
And there's always somebody that comes up out of nowhere. That's why these polls are silly. Who had TCU playing national championship last year? In the preseason, name me one poll or anything that had TCU. Nobody.
Could you imagine the betting odds last year on TCU?
I mean, they deserve to be there, but Boy,
Mhm.
the national championship game was horrible. They got
Oh yeah.
destroyed.
Well, I think TCU had their bowl championship win when they beat Michigan.
Yep. But nobody expected them. As a matter of fact, I don't even think they were ranked in the preseason.
Mm-mm. No, because weren't they the first one that was unranked? First
Yeah,
team
just
ever.
yeah. First team ever to start the year unranked and then play for the national championship. Thank you. Ivy Warrior wants to rub the salt in my wound. Miami 49, UCLA 45. I
Uh,
remember it. Edgerrin James, that bastard. But it was a hell of a nobody. As you see by that score there, the defense, nobody, either team couldn't stop anybody. I knew it was like whoever had the ball last was going to win.
Mhm.
See that, man? Our listeners love to rub salt in my wound. Here you go. No, but I mean, I'm with you. I think Penn State actually could be ranked top 10 by the season, by the end of the season. But until this kid proves himself, and I'm not talking if he beats the crap out of um, give me a team that they're playing this year, Rutgers. If
Okay.
he if he beats the crap out of Rutgers, who cares?
Mm-hmm.
That's nobody. He's got to prove it to me in a big time game. And by big time, that's even like as far as like going against. I didn't see their schedule if they go against like Wisconsin or somebody like that. That's a bigger program.
Yeah. Um, I'm not sure of their schedule right at the moment here, but I know they got I think they got Delaware as one of their
Delaware. Oh
yeah
my
one
God.
of their big teams they're playing. Uh,
Yeah, that's going to be a toughie. He'll throw for like 400 yards and everybody will go, oh my Lord, Heisman.
yeah, because I think that's an early season game too.
But I'm not going to fault them for that. Almost every one of these power teams play at least one cupcake.
Mm-hmm.
The
But
school
to
comes.
their they are starting the game the season off against a well it's been a pretty good West Virginia team in the past couple of years, so they start off at home against them. So
Well, that's good to see West Virginia and Penn State play again.
hmm
It's been a while, hasn't it?
yeah, it's been a while. Probably back when both were independent.
Yeah. I remember they had that hell of a game against each other with Jeff Hostetler.
Uh-huh. Yep.
See, I really can't get on Penn State. I did get on Penn State's schedule, but I really can't because, you know, UCLA usually played, and I used to brag about it, a
Mm-hmm.
tough non conference. And then they had Chip Kelly came. Our first three games are Coastal Carolina, San Diego State, and North Carolina Central.
Mm.
And if they lose to any one of them, I'm done with them. There's no way they should lose to any of them.
Well, Penn State's first couple are West Virginia, then Delaware, then the Illinois Fighting Illini, which they weren't too bad last year. Then they got Iowa, Northwestern, which with everything that's going on
Oh my
there,
God!
we won't even get into that. But then they play a team called Clarkson Golden Knight. Have you ever heard of them?
What?
They're
What?
called Clark Golden Knights.
Yeah, I know who they are. They got a good hockey team.
They're at uh, Potsdam, New York.
Now that should be embarrassing. I don't. Christ, are they even Division Two or whatever it's called now? FF. I get.
And this stupid thing I'm looking at, that's hockey. They have
okay.
They have a hockey in here with football.
I was gonna say because I know they're a good hockey team. That should be a good game.
Mm-hmm. Okay, it gets a little better here. It's UMass, and then Ohio State, Indiana, and then Maryland to finish out. So no Michigan, no Wisconsin.
They don't have Michigan.
Michigan State, no Michigan State, and Wisconsin. Yeah,
they do have Michigan, right? They have to.
Yeah. Wait a minute. Yeah, they do. Well, that's the away games. So.
Oh my God! I don't know if he's ever. I don't think Frank. And I got to check. I don't think he's ever beaten Michigan in Michigan. Do you know what's really bad?
What's that?
Next year, UCLA's in the Big Ten.
Yeah. Now, are they gonna actually make their schedule all Big Ten then? In the next year?
I think so. We're gonna UCLA. UCLA has struggled, not the last couple of years, but they struggled in the Pac-12. How in the hell are they going to compete in the Big Ten? Unless we start doing what USC's doing and paying people. All right, here we go. I forgot. I did. I forgot about that. They beat Michigan in 2020, but I think that's the only win. And the last time he's educating us. Last time they played was 1992, West Virginia and Penn State. Then he asked us, Kenny, well, Brian, what Penn State loss shocked you in all your years you've been a sports reporter? Well, actually, it wasn't when I was a sports reporter, but I think Kenny would agree with this, is when Cincinnati beat them.
Yeah, Cincinnati, and there was
and people watching that are younger, this is not the Cincinnati that's been good the last couple of years. This was a crappy Cincinnati team. Do you remember the year Paterno was still coaching and Cincinnati came to Happy Valley and beat Penn State?
Yeah, that was one of those bad years for Paterno, I believe.
Yeah, he actually had a losing season that year. That would be the worst. Absolute worst. Because Cincinnati was not like they are now. They were bad. Do you remember that one, Kenny?
Mm-hmm.
I still remember. I'm watching it on TV, and I remember just the fans had this look on their face like they got gut punched. It's like, what the hell happened? So, well, I'm not. It sounded like it. I wasn't really picking on Penn State, but I don't like polls this early. Yeah, I think, honestly, except until they've beaten Georgia, should be number one if you're going to do it. And I think Michigan should be number two. Everything after that is up in the air.
Mm-hmm.
To me.
Yeah.
Because, yes, USC, everybody's got a weakness. USC is number 6. And they do have Caleb Williams, who's probably, barring injury or a crappy year, going to win the Heisman. Mm-hmm. But their defense sucks. Remember what Utah did to them in 2 games last year?
Oh yeah, they tore him up.
Their defense stinks. Lincoln Riley, yeah, he paid a lot of people to come through the transfer portal, but they still everybody's got a problem. We'll have to see how it pans out. Because I think even Georgia, Stetson Bennett, look at what was he, a 4 year starter?
3-year starter. Yep.
3 year, and he's I guess he's had a pretty good. I read a lot. It's my team. He's had a really good camp with the Rams.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he doesn't look like he's got a lot of talent, but he's got the moxie, and the belief in himself.
I remember that one, IB Warrior. Yeah, Coach say they did have a winning record, but yeah, do you remember that Nebraska? They opened up with Nebraska in that old kickoff classic. I think it was in New Jersey, and Nebraska just stomped them 44-6. 44-6.
Wow.
That was nasty. That was, I think, was it Nebraska? See, I'm getting old. 83. Was it Nebraska and Miami played for the national title?
Yeah, where it came down to a stop by the Miami.
Yeah, and that's what started the Hurricanes' run.
Right. Schellenberger was the coach. Right?
Yes. And then they won with Jimmy and then Dennis Erickson. Mm-hmm. They won national championship with 3 different coaches. Oh, well. So, we've ended up turning this into a college football Penn State show.
Yeah.
We'll get back to high school and all that stuff. Don't worry. But it's just we got this lag here where summer sports are done and high school hasn't started yet. So it's good to talk about different things. And I love football coming around. That and wrestling are my favorite sports. So Kenny, you got any shout outs, bud?
I have one, actually.
Hold on. You cannot say it without your music. You know that by now. Here we go.
All right.
Shout out, Kenny Varner, feeding the ducks.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, my shout out tonight is to the staff, the new football staff at Bellefonte. Since taking over, the new crew has tried to create a culture, a family atmosphere with the players. They've been very proactive on getting the team primed and ready to go, doing a lot of social outings, getting to spend time together. And this coaching staff, even when they're done practicing, will go and help the different players if they need it. So it was pretty refreshing to see. And I hopefully after the season that the Red Raiders had last year, that this new crew will come in and create a winning atmosphere. It's kind of reminds you of what Shane Breon did with the Huskies last year. It's just it's refreshing to see, and they're starting to create their own culture now. So shout out to the Bellefonte football coaches and the program.
So who is the new coach?
His name is Troy
Just curious. Troy Confer. Well, good luck, Troy. They have nowhere to go but up. You remember last year their problem was
Mhm.
how bad their offense was.
Right. And how
They
many
could
kids got
not
hurt?
score points, and they had a lot of injuries. Yep. So
Mhm.
good luck to Troy Confer and his staff. Maybe we'll get them on
Maybe.
if they're willing. Anybody
Hmm.
else?
Nope. That's pretty much it. Pretty slow, all around.
It's all right. I got a shout out, and that was to all, and you, we didn't talk about this, is the Chief Logan guys that showed up to the Wrangle in the Wild.
Hmm.
Great names. Mifflin County has a rich tradition and history in wrestling, and it was showcased at Wrangle 3. I think it's just a classy thing.
Yes, definitely. And they had a lot of people show up, and I mean, most of that floor was covered with the history of Chief Logan Wrestling.
You are not the only one. I think a lot of people, Ivy, is waiting to see how the Huskies do this coming season. They've got a lot, something that we haven't heard much lately, a nice buzz. Everybody's pretty confident. I know they have some holes on the line, but that's something that, wait to get these guys, they've been lifting weights. Some of them have over the summer. And, the good thing is they got leadership back, especially at the skill position with Landon Eichhorn and Deacon Schaefer. I think a big loss is going to be Isaac Wilson.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
I don't know if they really realize how good he was on both sides of the ball.
Mm-hmm. And
as a receiver. Yep, as a receiver and then in defense. And just made big plays when you needed it. Big play on offense, interceptions on defense. I think the line's going to be okay. It's, getting somebody to replace the leadership of Isaac Wilson will be key. And I honestly think the Mid-Penn, the Keystone, they are very, very, the only thing we know, this is absolute, Mifflin County could finish second in that conference. Nobody is going to beat Bishop McDevitt.
No.
Nobody.
Mm-hmm.
They are defending state champs in 4A with the best high school quarterback in Pennsylvania. Nobody in the Mid-Penn is beating them. I will say that now. But honestly, Mifflin County, now I don't want to put pressure on them, but Mifflin County, if the ball falls right, could go 9-1.
Mm-hmm.
They could. And then you got a showdown with State College, and then it's like, try to stop the Sheffy kid. My God, they haven't talked about, and you know that, Kenny, they haven't talked about a running back like that since Larry Johnson came out of there.
I remember that, yeah.
And I had the privilege, I don't know if you were there or not, I had the privilege of covering him at the Lesser Lumber game, when actually the Lesser Lumber game used to get stud players. Mm-hmm. And Larry Johnson was there, and just a man beast.
Well, people don't know, too, that he was an awesome basketball player, too.
Yeah. And the thing that's sad, we never talked about that when it last, but the Lesser Lumber kids don't want to play in it anymore. Last year, the rosters, kids bowed out. The West Side, I think it was the West Side had only 24 kids. Yeah, well, they do. The only one that they're playing that will test them is last year. Oh my God, it's out of the Philly area. It's Newman Goretti or somebody like that. That's the team that'll challenge them. Anybody else, no. They dominated in the state final game, and they're going to do it again. The Sanders kid, Stone Sanders, he threw for, think about this, Kenny, he threw for 55 touchdowns last year.
Sheesh.
55.
Oh man.
He's like
Some don't
6'3",
get it.
6'4".
Wow.
He's got everybody after him. Penn State, Alabama, Ohio State, everybody is after him. And that's the only team, I'll say it right now, and I don't want to piss Breon off. I mean, I respect him completely. We will not beat Bishop McDevitt. We will not. But everybody else, we got a chance.
Mm-hmm.
And that's pretty exciting for around here.
It is.
To say that. But we'll talk about that more when we got the high school football show.
Oh, yeah.
So,
which is only, what, a couple weeks from now?
Yeah.
Maybe a
we
week
appreciate.
Or two?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're going to have a high school show. We'll try to get Shane Breon on like the week of the first game against Central Mountain.
Mm-hmm.
And see if he comes on. He didn't last year, but I did a story on his father getting put in the Hall of Fame at Lesser Lumber, District 6. And he said we communicated, and I interviewed him from the story, and he said he would come on this year. So,
awesome.
Yeah, we'll have some Shane Bree on. We want to get, isn't it Nagel, the Bald Eagle coach, back on?
Yeah, Jesse Nagel. Yeah.
Jesse Nagel, they are going to be a solid once again. I'd like to get
Condo.
Yeah, I know, but I'm missing one. He's been at. I'll catch up, people. He's been at Penns Valley forever.
Oh, jeez.
Oh my Lord! Shoot me in the face.
God. Well, I've interviewed him the last couple of times, so
we'll think of it when we get off the air.
Oh, probably.
But so we got a lot of good teams back. Penns Valley, Bald Eagle area, Mifflin County will be sold. I'd like to get Lintel on again for State College. Talk to him. So
Martin
we'll
Tobias.
keep it going. Yeah,
Martin
Tobias, Marty.
Yeah.
We will get. You're right. And it's last year, and they got another year of the beast, Ty Watson.
Mm-hmm.
I'm all pumped, buddy. Are you?
Oh, I'm yeah. It's like Christmas.
Should be pretty good. Pretty good teams around the area this year. Mm-hmm. I like it. Well, everybody, that's going to about wrap it up for tonight. We went a little over like we always do. We like talking about different things and stuff, and we appreciate you sticking with us. IB Warrior, appreciate all the comments and interacting with us. That was pretty cool.
Oh, definitely. Jogging our memories.
Yeah, because my memory definitely needs jogged. But hey, that's going to wrap it up for tonight. We thank you for listening. For Kenny Varner, I'm Brian Carson. Have a great rest of your week and an even better weekend. Take care, everybody. Good night.
Good night, everybody.